Push the pause button. Okay.
Yeah, just so much history in this one building right here. Hey Facebook, what's going on? Once again, it's your homeboy, Robert Jar Supreme Jarrett, and I'm here doing another video. Today is August 1st, 2019, and it's a very, very special day for me and my family, and a very special young man that entered my life a year ago. For those of you that have been following me on Facebook, you know that last year at this time, August 1st, I became a grandfather. Yes, believe it or not, as young and handsome as I am, I'm just joking, I'm a grandfather now. And so my grandson, he turns 1 year old today. So I would like to say happy first birthday to my grandson, Bootsy. Even though his real name is Jonah, his mama named him Jonah, but I'm gonna call him Bootsy because as a grandparent, I got that right. So as I said, today is a very special day. And so I was thinking about what I wanted to get my grandson for his first birthday present. And you know, most grandparents, you know, we spoil them to death with the clothes and the toys and different things that they outgrow and things that they don't play with forever. So I said I wanted his very first birthday present to be something from the heart, something special, and definitely something unique. So let me tell you about how I came up with this plan. You know, like most people, I hope to live a long time, and I hope to be around when my grandson becomes a teenager and he starts going into his 20s and he's asking questions about his history, about where he's from, his family. And so from here, I can sit down with him and tell him all that information. But just in case something ever happens to me and, you know, I get called home to be with the ancestors, I want to leave some information behind that will help answer some questions, little research that I've compiled over the years. He can take this with him and he can even go further than what I have. So this is dedicated to my grandson. This is his first birthday present. Little knowledge that I have for him, little information that'll help him along the way. Now, he may not appreciate it now because he's only one, but as he gets older, I'm sure he'll cherish this and he's gonna come to love it. And what I'm actually gonna do, I'm gonna put this on a DVD form and put it up for him. That way, as I said, if anything ever happens to me, he'll have a copy down the road so he can check it out. Okay, you ready? So this is for you, Bootsy. Okay, to my grandson, Jonah Rodney Harris. You were born on August 1st, 2018 in Steubenville, Ohio. Your mother was born Catherine Marie Harris on August 31st, 1993 in Youngstown, Ohio. Your maternal grandfather, that's me, I was born Robert C. Jarrett Jr. on December 1st, 1971 in Youngstown, Ohio. My mother, one of your great-grandmothers, she was born Willie Dahl Clark on June 29th, 1944 in Tupelo, Mississippi. Now, my mother had 4 children, and I'm the youngest and the prettiest one, but we'll leave that alone. So I have an older brother. His name is Christopher Orlando Johnson. He was born on September 3rd, 1962 in Tupelo, Mississippi. I have an older sister, Sherry Lynn Johnson. She was born November 1st, 1963, also in Tupelo, Mississippi. And I have one more older sister, Miss Valinda K. Johnson. She was born on July 24th, 1965. Now, my grandmother, my maternal grandmother on my mother's side, her name was Mary Frankie Bartlow. She was born on June 23rd, 1915. Now, her parents were Chester Partlow and Martha Ann Partlow. And her husband was Jack Clark. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop that right there on my mother's side because most of them are from Mississippi. So next time I take a trip to Mississippi, I'm going to do a video on that part. But as of right now, I want to come to my father's side, which is my paternal side, and talk about that because that's what brings me here now. What I'm standing in front of right now is the Jarrett Plantation, and there's a lot of history with my last name, with my family, which is what I was talking about in the beginning. So let me tell you about my father's side of the family. My father was born Robert C. Jarrett on March 3rd, 1939 in Warren, Ohio. My father's mother, she was born Beatrice Birdie Johnson on July 10th, 1918 in Lynchburg, Virginia. My father's father, which is my paternal grandfather, he was born Cephas Jarrett on March 13th, 1909, right here in Stevens County, Toccoa, Georgia. In fact, my grandfather said this is where he used to play at when he was a kid, right here in front of the plantation. Now, my grandfather's parents, they were Ella Johnson Jarrett and Edward Thomas Jarrett. Now, he was born April 1860. So as you learned probably in high school and subsequent reading during the 60s, I might as well say, we was involved in the Civil War. So yes, my great-grandfather was born into slavery. Now, he was born to a Miss Amelia Mealy Jarrett, who was born September 1844. And this is where Amelia, which they called her Mealy, was a slave at. So, I got something I want to show you. So we're going to pause right quick and be right back. And see, I kept my word. I told you I would be right back. So, a moment ago, you heard me mention that my great-great-grandmother was a slave here at the Jarrett Plantation. Well, I got something I want to show y'all. Come on in right quick. Now, you see this beautiful young lady right here on this plaque? Okay, that is my great-great-grandmother, and that is Miss Amelia Mealy Jarrett. And to my grandson, that is your great-great-great-great-grandmother. And so I want to talk about that for a moment. Now, let me say this. I'm doing a double gift today. As I said, it's my grandson's birthday, but I also have another gift that I want to give. Not too long ago, I got a Facebook request from a gentleman by the name of Joe Cash Sr. And Joe informed me that he was my first cousin because he is my Uncle David's son. And so we have not met in person yet, but I also want to reach out and give a gift to my cousin. Hey, what up, Cuddy? How you feeling? I know we haven't met in person yet, but cuz I'm working on it. I know you're on the road a lot, like I'm on the road, but we're going to get it in sooner or later. So cuz I want to help you out also, just like I said I was doing with my grandson. Now, I know you have children, and I'm sure as they get older, and even yourself, you might be looking into the family history. So what I want to do right now is maybe see if I can plug in one or two of the pieces that you might have been wondering or want to know about. So, and if you saw me looking away, there was a cat that was walking up. So I believe this might be one of our ancestors right here. Got the cat. Hey, kitty. So, yeah, I'm going to say that's my great-great-grandmother's, her spirit. This is her spirit animal. We got here. She was out here waiting on us. So, hey, what up, Grandma? How you doing, baby? Y'all know I'm being silly. Okay, so cuz, like I was saying, as your kids get older and, you might have some free time, but I want to encourage you to come down here to the Jarrett Plantation. It's been standing here since 1832, so it's not going nowhere. The state of Georgia actually bought it in 1955, so it's actually a historical landmark, so they cannot tear it down. So, cuz, this is for you. This is a little gift. Now, what I did with my grandson, I went from the bottom to the top, but for you, cuz, I'm going to go from the top to the bottom, like an old rap song, but I'm just playing with you. Okay, so Joe Cash, this is for you, cuz. You ready? Back in the year 1665, over in a town called Kent, England, there was a man by the name of Robert Jarrett. Robert Jarrett left England and came to America and landed in what we know as Virginia, okay? So Robert Jarrett had a son named Robert Jarrett Jr. Robert Jarrett Jr. had a son named Robert Jarrett III. Robert Jarrett III had a son named Deverell Jarrett. Deverell Jarrett had a son named Robert Jarrett IV. Robert Jarrett IV had a son named Deverell Jarrett also. Deverell Jarrett moved from South Carolina over here to Georgia, In the year 1832, he bought this property from his neighbor, James Wiley. And the proper name for it is the Traveler's Rest. But over the years and the people that stayed here on the property, they called it the Jarrett Plantation. So Jarrett owned, when he moved here, he had 17 slaves. And by the time he died, which was 1866, somewhere around there, 1865, he owned 95 slaves. Now, as I said before, Amelia, the young, beautiful lady you just saw in the picture, she was a slave here on the Jarrett Plantation. And guess what? She had a baby by none other than old Deborah, up to no good, the devil himself, Jarrett. So yes, because this is our great-great-grandfather, and this is our great-great-grandmother. Now, Amelia, as I was saying before, she had a son named Edward Thomas. Edward Thomas had a son named Cephas. And as you know, Cephas is our grandfather. Now, Cephas had 7 sons. He had Uncle Larry, who's no longer with us, may he rest in peace. And then, of course, there was my dad. He's no longer with us either, may he rest in peace. Uncle Michael, he died in Vietnam, may he rest in peace. And Uncle Ronnie, he's no longer with us. And so the 3 that are still living is your dad, of course, my homeboy, my favorite uncle, Uncle David, the coolest cat I know. And then, of course, there's Uncle Tommy and Uncle Edward. So, as I said, cuz, hopefully you can get down here to the plantation. You can do some research on your own. Maybe your kids can come down. You can learn a few things. But I just want to tell you, cuz, your dad, man, he was a class act. He was one of a kind. That was my homeboy. I got some stories I can tell you about your dad. Man, you know, like I said, the funniest guy I ever remember. I remember when I was a little kid, my dad used to take me to Warren, you know, to go visit the family and everything. And we'd go visit Uncle Tommy and Charlie Bell and some of the others. But then on the way back, we'll stop at Niles to go visit your dad. Cuz, let me tell you something. Your dad was sharp. I mean, we would go over his house, and he was always wearing like a black leather suit, or he had a red suit. I mean, just clean. And then you walk into the room, and he had that old that carpet, that old chinchilla, whatever it was. You walk in, you kind of sink down a little bit. And we go in there. I mean, he had, back then they had what they called the Wi-Fi system. I mean, the hi-fi. And, you know, the reel-to-reel. I mean, he had all that, the cassette deck, the reel-to-reel, the record player. And then he had that poster on the wall, you know, with the panther, that glow in the dark at night. He had that. Hey, and the thing about it, he always had a fine woman over there. And I remember I was a little kid, man, about 10, 11 years old, and him and my dad sitting there talking, and he would have a fine woman sitting on the couch. Now, you know, I'm little, I'm looking, I'm like, hey, let's see what Uncle Dave got going on here. Hey, I'm gonna stop right there. That could be your mom, cause you know I'm just having fun. But one thing I remember about your dad, man, he would always go in his pocket when my dad wasn't looking. He'd turn to me, he said, "How your pockets, boy?" I'm like, "They all right." And then he'd go in his pocket, he'd pull out a big wad of money. You know, he'd peel off a 5 or 10, and then he'd give it to me. He said, "Don't tell your daddy." I said, all right. So I put that money in my pocket, wouldn't say nothing to my dad. And so my dad would give me a ride home, or we going home. And he said to me one day, he said, "What you gonna be when you grow up?" I said, "Man, I wanna be just like Uncle David." My dad looked at me, he said, "Oh, you wanna be a bum the rest of your life, huh?" I said, "Hey, if that's how bums live, yeah, sign me up." But I'm just joking. Hey, but one last story, cuz, then I'm gonna get on out of here, let you do what you gotta do. But I never forget, your dad, my uncle, was the one that helped me make the transition from a boy to a man. I'm gonna tell you what happened. Granddaddy, my dad, Uncle Larry, and your dad were avid fishermen. They was always out there fishing. I remember the first time I went fishing with them, cause I didn't know what I was doing. I'm out there, the worms, I'm just scared to touch them, you know, wouldn't even pick them up, wouldn't even put them on the hook. So Uncle David said, "Get it, boy, get it, put it on the hook." So I put the worm on the hook finally, you know, cast it out there. Uncle David showed me how to do that. Next thing I know, I'm just sitting there, and I seen that little bob going up and down. So I caught it like that, and I'm reeling it in. I said, Uncle David, I caught a fish. And he's like, "There you go, boy, bring it in." So I'm fighting with it and everything. Bring the fish up, and I'm just so scared. I'm like, you know, I'm jumping like this. And, you know, I dropped the pole on the ground. And so the fish just flopping around and everything. And I'm like, Uncle Dave, the fish is gonna get away. He said, "Get it, boy, get it." So I reached down, I got the fish. He's my towel here. And I'm like holding the fish like in a death grip, you know, holding it like that. And so all these other fishermen, they looking around, seeing what's going on and everything, and I got the fish, and he's all right, carry it. So I took it over there. You know, they had the basket and everything. You know, I put it in the basket. And so everybody's looking at me, you know, kind of like laughing a little bit. So I'm feeling all stupid. Man, your dad stood up. He said, hey, everybody, this is my nephew. He just caught his first fish. He a man now. So all these white fishermen stood up. They started clapping for me and everything. And, you know, they pat me on the back. And I went to him. I said, Uncle Dave, did I do all right? He said, yeah, boy, you did all right. I said, yeah. I waited about 5 minutes later. I went back. Uncle Dave, you think I did all right? He said, yeah, boy, I told you did all right. I said, cool. He's sitting there with a beer in his hand. I said, Uncle Dave, can I get a sip of that beer? He's like, yeah. In his famous words, don't tell your daddy about that. So, hey, cuz we'll get together and I'll tell you some more stories about your dad. But hey, Facebook, I'm gonna get ready to get out of here. I just got one last thing I want to do. Now y'all know, for those of you that have seen my videos, every time I come here, I always pay tribute to my ancestors, those that came before me. And so I want to keep that tradition going. So I just want to send up libations to all of my elders, my ancestors that are no longer here. For those of you that follow me, y'all know I did this before. And libations is a way of just paying your respects and your honor to those that are no longer around. And so what happens when the person does the libation, they usually says Oshe, Ashe, which means you're in agreement or yes. So the first thing I want to do, my father, as you know, who was my hero, my best friend, he passed away a couple of years ago since I've been here to the plantation. So first I want to send libations to him. Ashe. And of course to my granddad, like I said, that was my hero. I remember growing up around him, hearing stories about the Jarrett Plantation. So I'm sending libations to him. Ashe. Also, I mentioned my uncles that are no longer here with us, Uncle Ronnie, my Uncle Michael, some great Jarrett men. Definitely got to send libations to them. Also, I got to give a shout out to my cousin, my homeboy, Jeff Jarrett down in Florida. Cuz, what's going on? I love you, man. I can't wait to see you in person. I was just talking to Jeff not too long ago, and some of you have heard me talk about this before on Facebook. I've written about it. I met his father when I was down in Tennessee. He wasn't feeling good at the time. You know, he was trying to get home. He wasn't feeling right. I was about a half hour away, but he stayed at the house. He stayed woke till I got there. We met, we took a picture together, and he passed away about 2 weeks after I met him. So, you know, that was like one of the most memorable journeys that I ever took when I was meeting the Jarretts. So to brother Iulis Jarrett and his brother who died about a year ago, Virgil Jarrett, I want to send libations to them also. And recently, July has been kind of a rough month in the city of Youngstown. We lost some very good, positive brothers. Those of you that are South High Warriors, you know, we lost Dan Hopis and Brian Jenkins. And also, I just got word a few days ago that my friend Tommy Robbins Ellis off of Kiss Place, he just died. So I want to send libations to him. Shay. And last but not least, I'm going to take a moment just to pause. There might be a person that has passed away that someone watching this video might want to respect or honor. So I'm going to take a moment in silence and let you say whatever you want to say. Shay. Hey, I just want to thank everybody for taking time out of your schedule to watch this video. And I have one last thing to do before I get out of here, so I might get in trouble. But I have got to give a shout out to my sugar bear. She's been my camera person and my assistant today to make sure everything went great. So hey, I appreciate you guys. I will talk to you all in my next video. It's raining out here. I got to go. Everybody be safe.